Hi, welcome to Chad's Silversmithing. Today it's time for a quick tip. One of the things I've done in the past is to emboss words by cutting out letters in a different metal and then passing them through the rolling mill with the metal I wanted to have the impression put into, and that works out pretty well. And I thought you could do the design of a whole ring with different shapes impressed into the metal, and you could even texture it in the recessed areas. The tip really is you can impress recessed areas into the sheet that you're working with in order to create interesting patterns that aren't just generalized textures. So let's see what we can come up with. This is one of my design idea sketchbooks you can get on my merch store. This particular model has flow temperatures of various types of silver solder. Some of the other ones have conversion charts or ring sizing charts, things like that. The key feature for these, for me, is it provides a place for me to keep track of my projects for posterity, because I never used to do that, and I can't even remember all the things I made prior to doing this YouTube channel, but it's nice now I can go back and I can just find what I made and see how I did it in case I want to do something similar. So today we don't have much of a picture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece of copper here, and I've cut out some different shapes out of some brass sheet. They're both 18 gauge. I cut out a little apple like this and a little spade from a deck of cards. They're not perfect, but I don't really need them to be perfect. If I was doing this for a project, I probably would try and make them as perfect as possible. I've done stuff like this before, but I've never done it where I put a texture on the piece that's going to cause an impression to be in there. So I did that on this piece of brass, and we'll try that and see how that works out. So my first step, these are both 18 gauge, by the way. My first step is going to be, I'm going to take a little super glue and glue these right onto this, and then we're going to create kind of a sandwich with another piece of brass on the back of this to kind of provide a hard surface to push against. And then I'm going to put some of this thick cardboard. I'm going to put a piece of that on the back so that the metal has a place to move into that's soft as it's running through the rolling mill. And I think that'll help us to get a better impression. I just hope so. We'll give it a try and see. So let's glue these down. I just am going to use some super glue. It'll be interesting to see if the texture comes through on this one. I'm not sure if it will or not. I'll let that dry for a minute. I guess I don't need this whole long thing. I was kind of envisioning like having a ring band and cutting out an interesting pattern that's just the shape of it, and then rolling them both through the rolling mill in order to impress that pattern into the band itself. You know, something a little bit more ornate or detailed. That might be kind of fun to see how that works. It seems like a good experiment. I've used this for various things, but never for that specifically. So. And I'm going to use some of this glue masking tape. This works pretty well for stuff. Put this copper one on top here. And then it's going to be pushing it into the copper, so I want a little bit of a squishy back on the copper here. Alright, so we have kind of a contained package now here. So nothing should squirt out. We have to kind of loosen the rolling mill and then squeeze it down tight over the... I'm probably going to do it over the middle one and then roll it back and forth. Here's my lovely 130 millimeter combo rolling mill. For the longest time I had a cheap rolling mill that I got, gosh, I don't remember where I got it from, but I eventually broke the gears on it. Okay, let's do the moment of truth now. Okay, so you can see from the back the impression coming through. Now I'm going to heat this up to release that glue, and then we'll kind of flatten it out and see how it looks. I meant to put a link in here for the original embossing and debossing video. So here's a link to it up there. Let's just heat this and push these off. That apple didn't want to come off of there. Let's just kind of flatten this back out. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Dremel and use one of those bristle discs, and we'll take off some of the debris here so you can see the impressions. Okay, I just kind of used a bristle wheel to take off some of the oxides on the outer part. And I took it off on the inside too to see if that impression took very much. You can see it just a little bit, but I think it might be better, a better result if you use like a texturing stamp or something after you embossed it like that or debossed it, if you wanted to have a texture inside of the cavity. But you could certainly oxidize things or just leave them unpolished in the cavities, but I think that's kind of a fun idea. I might have to do a whole ring that way. But tell me what you think. Tell me how you would do it if you would do it differently. What other similar ideas have you had? Share it with my group. I'm sure they'd love to hear it. So, all right. Well, that's embossing shapes right into your piece of jewelry. Well, that was a tip on how to impress some shapes into your piece using your rolling mill, and I hope you found that useful and enjoyable. If you did, I'd love it if you'd hit the like button before you go, and maybe visit my main channel page. I have over 650 videos. I do 3 per week. Generally the one on Tuesday is a tip like this, but there's tons of content over there, so take a while and peruse some of it, and I'd really love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. It makes it so you can find my content really easily, and it also helps me out a great deal, so thanks in advance for doing that. I love it if you leave a comment too. I love to hear from you guys. Tell me what you think. You know, suggestions for videos, constructive criticism, all of that stuff is useful to me and makes me have a better channel, so thanks for that in advance. I wanted to thank some groups of people. My patrons on Patreon are my core group of supporters, and I have a new one. Her name is Christine R. Thank you for signing up. I really do appreciate the support. I think you'll find that it's a great group of people over there you can get to know and share information with, show each other your work. It's a nice environment over there with a lot of cool people, so thanks for making it that way, patrons. The other group of supporters that I have are my YouTube subscribers, and we just passed 28,700 subscribers. Thank you for making it that way. I couldn't in my wildest imaginings have thought I'd have that many people watching my channel when I first started this, so thanks for that. Thank you also for the kind comments, the support in the way of super thanks, buy me coffees, buying my merch and my ebooks. All of that makes my channel sustainable, and I couldn't do it without your help. So thank you for that. The video description down below has information about this video, but it also has some important links. There's a link to my Patreon if you want to find out more about that particular platform and whether that's a good fit for you. There's a link to my merch store if you want to get yourself one of those nice design idea sketchbooks or some other useful merch. There's a link to my newest ebook, which is 2025's tutorial guide. It has a page for each tutorial I did in 2025, including a link to that, as well as additional information about the tutorial itself, including pictures, notes, materials, stone information, things I might have learned from doing the project, things I might do different, whether I like the project or not. Like anybody, I don't always think the outcome is as good as I'd like, so I've tried to note those things in the notes. You can even get all 3 years I've done that for, which is 2023, 2024, and 2025 for a discount. So look for that discount deal on the merch store as well. On this video, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to Pepe Tools. I am an affiliate of Pepe Tools, and since we were talking about the rolling mill a little bit, if you want to look into getting one of those from Pepe Tools, they're a really nice machine. It's one of my favorite tools, so I'll leave a link in there for you. All right, well, thanks for watching today. Take care. Happy silversmithing.